brutal hit tips. Don't be jealous or envious of more attractive people. And this is where social media became the culprit. A lot of people try and likes to blame social media. So let's see what the article says about that. It's easy to cast your eye at more outwardly beautiful people and feel jealousy and envy to take a hold of you. They just seem to have all the luck, right? So given that we judge people on appearance as soon as we meet them, which is always been a discussion for a lot of people, they would say something like first impression last, but then they would talk about character. How would you know they're nice? We have to be real about this. First impression would always going to be without talking, just you. And it would seem reasonable that the more attractive you are, the more positively someone might feel about you. It's reality. It is what it is, and it's so sad. And there are people out there that would find such a limitation for you. But facts are facts. Reality is reality. Where you come from is reality. How people see you is sometimes a reality unless you change it for yourself. And you have to bear the consequences of those things. It would seem reasonable that the more attractive you are, the more positively someone might feel about you. But beyond snap judgments, our looks can only take us so far. So they might help us to get our foot in the door, but they can't keep you in the room. And this is the most important part, guys. Are you listening? Personality is what people really latch on to and either like or dislike. And in this respect, you are not any obvious disadvantage. There are attractive people who are quite horrible when you get to know them, and there are ugly people who are charming and personable. If you are forever looking with envy at those who might score above you in the looks department, you'll never be able to truly accept yourself for who you are. You can't like and respect yourself while simultaneously wishing you were someone else. How people see you is their reality, not yours. Oh my God. See, there are such wisdom in it, and people are just not listening. So it's like, I don't understand if I'm seeing the world in a different way, but I'm pretty sure I'm not, because obviously you guys can understand where I'm coming from. So it's always nice. So we promote this. Rather than hate, we promote this. Be lovable. Oh, diba? ICEE is wise. I don't know why when wise, wisdom, knowledge, I'm just really attracted at that. I really like when a person says something for me is so wise and wisdom. And these are the things. Usually some people would like to be friends with good-looking people, something. But for me, I always look for people that I want to spend time with when they're wise. That is very attractive to me. Not even in just a special or love interest. It's just like in my everyday life, I totally am attracted to people who says wisdom, and that is what I find on YouTube from time to time. And Matipid Lolo says beauty standards are set forth by the society you live in, and you can choose not to accept those standards, but it does not change the societal standards. Exactly. It's like, what do you want? Society will adjust with one person? I think that's what they want, you know, like the whole country would adjust on this one person. Kasi okay, I'm so bad now. Okay, I'm gonna behave. Yeah. Societal standards are not necessarily personal standards. However, as a person living in society, you definitely need to be aware that others will judge you by societal standards. Exactly. You know, in this context, in this concept, kidding aside, we started talking about the unattractive, you know, the unfuckables, as they say. And I've told some, and I've shared some of my stories of how I grew up in the Philippines, and the society standards of beauty I'm not included. Now I understand that. I get to grow and I get to understand, I get to learn more that in the whole aspect of being an adult, you only have to find your people. And if you think about it, like way back, the society, it's all about community and having people in that same group of individuals that share the same belief. For me, in a way, if you understand that this place is not for you, then you get to explore, you get to have the opportunity of exploring. Why not? Really. I have this thing that I'm pondering, and I don't know if I can give justice of how to explain it and express it. How many people out there, especially we're in YouTube world and we all watch YouTube, famous vloggers, famous people. How many of these manosphere, women's nosphere, is that how you say? Like feminism and all of these community or movement out there that they would tell they're ugly, that's why they couldn't get a girl. Or they're so ugly they couldn't get a man. It's like how much of these people are actually taking a step back and looking on what kind of people are they trying to be with? And where's the reality in it? Because let's just face it, in total honesty, it's very hard for a very attractive person to be with someone who is super vice versa of him or her. It does happen, and you can see that. That's why I said beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You might be ugly to a lot of people, but this person who is like a 9 or a 8 or a 7 looks at you so beautiful. Like in the Philippines when I was growing up, I have this huge judgment of people. Usually even me, I was young. I didn't know better, okay? That's my excuse. That's my excuse. And I come from a society where we judge everybody, you know. I grew up in a world like that in the Philippines. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you can take it whatever you like. I'm not bashing. It's just the truth. It's part of the society where judgment is there. So I grew up having halves here and there, half American, half Filipina. And you have to be or bear with me here. This is not coming from a place where I criticize these people that judge, because at some point I was part of it too, because I didn't know better. How much we think like, oh my God, she looks like a maid, but her husband is so hot. And that's why the trending of AFAM on TikToks, everywhere you look. You know, why are there people doesn't believe on a hot wife falling for supposedly simp nerd lowest hierarchy of men? It's like, why is that even possible? Or why is it so impossible for these people? Because these are societal standards. And that's where we live in. It is what it is at some point. And that's for you guys to change your mindset and find actually what you're looking for. If you are a 3, why don't you date someone that is a 3? Why don't you start there before reaching the stores? I mean, this is funny. I'm laughing because this is something that a lot of people take so seriously and feel butthurt about. But if you're a snowflake, if you can't understand these things are just facts. Well, it could not be fact. If I said it's facts, it's 100%, right? But it's the norm of where we live in. Why would we be delusional that this doesn't happen? A lot of people would date someone they're not on the same par with. What you call that? Really? Then why would you feel ugly? Biology dictates baseline beauty standards. Society just adds sparkly adornments. Another one. What is the beauty of standard? Ooh la la. What is the beauty of standard? What is the beauty standard? Dark skin versus light skin. That beauty standard is set by the society you live in. Has nothing to do with biology. Facial symmetry, body shape, skin clarity, etc. Those very basic ones are universal among society. FK, the lipstick. FK, the foundation. FK, the eyeliners. FK, the husband or wife daily. FK, the blush. What's FK? I've been saying it, I didn't know. Oh, the society's sparkly standards. You know how people see the kind of like the proportion, like the, how do I explain? It's almost like a scientific way of how people perceive a person. Like there's certain bone shape and bone structure that makes a person thinks that person is beautiful. Like for girls, wider hips is supposedly good because biologically it's good for carrying babies, and that's why it's very attractive to men. I think that's what Felipe G is coming from, if I'm not mistaken. There are societies that prefer obese people. Body shape in America at one time, super thin was preferred. Not big butts are. Skin clarity is a sign of illness. And perhaps your own assessment does not align with others. Actually, that is silly. Ayan, desirable hip to waist ratios for women or waist to shoulder for men has been found to vary little amongst cultures. Body fat preferences varies much more. Ooh la la, I love the discussion. Real beauty is what is inside a person. And I want to explore this one in a way where I see it when I was explaining something. First impression is physical. This is how I kind of judge a person in a way. If a person's first impression in a certain particular, it could be they are not college graduates, they're not pretty enough, they're not handsome enough, they're fat, and then they decide they don't want to be friends. They don't even want to give the benefit of the doubt to even talk to this person. That for me is ugly. That's how you see people's reaction when they see things like this. And that's one of the reasons I hate when people belittle people. Because I've been in both worlds. I don't like it, never did, and never was, and never will be. No, I will never belittle person unless you're a piece of shit. Then I'll definitely. Only stupid people think about their own beauty. Real people think about their outlook towards others. Very well said. I think that's what I'm trying to explain in better, much worse. And go back to the 1980 versus 2020s. Ratios have changed. Waist to shoulder ratio are not the same as they were in the 80s. Definitely Farrah Fawcett, who has a toothpick, had a very narrow ratio. Ooh la la. Okay, I cannot relate anymore, guys. Ayan. You can be the greatest ever inventor, writer, builder, but if you make love to one goat, that you'll ever be remembered for. One goat theory. It's sad, isn't it? And sad, but true. We rant here and there, but when you rant and you kind of like embodied the every bitterness you felt, every rejection you felt because you are unattractive, and then you didn't change anything, even though you can do something about it, that's ugliness to me. Because you have the chance to change. You have the chance to get better, but you don't want to. Why? Everyone gets lazy. Don't get me wrong. Everyone has that point. We're not talking about being perfect. We're not talking about being like, oh, you do this all the time. No, but at least even once, did you even try? That's my point.